One evening, Lady Curmudgeon and I decided to go to our local movie house and see the new Indiana Jones sequel that nobody in the world asked for or wanted. So we watch the picture, it ends, we exit the theater, we're walking out to the car, but neither of us is saying anything, and it's getting a bit awkward. So, since the duty often falls to me to speak out loud what everyone else present is thinking, I decided to just come out and ask, was that movie as bad as I think it was? Lady Curmudgeon stopped walking, she deliberated for a moment or two, and she replied, no, it was worse. And then we promptly forgot about it and spent the drive home talking about whether Obama or McCain was going to win the presidential election. Oh, you thought that story was from recently? No, this happened in 2008, you silly geese. 15 goddamn years ago, back when I was still so young. I think I still had a hangover from my 35th birthday party. But hey, when you make a tacked-on sequel that nobody wanted or needed or asked for and everybody thought it sucked swinging cartoon monkey cock, and its most lasting contribution to the nation's cultural memory is the phrase nuking the fridge, and it somehow improbably manages to turn a not insignificant profit for the studio, well, there's only one thing left to do. You wait a really, really, really long time, then you make another shitty sequel that even fewer people wanted and which everybody hates even more. But this latest picture, Indiana Jones and the Tits of Travesty, I believe it's called, it will leave a cultural and historical imprint far larger than its predecessor, Indiana Jones and the Cervix of Suck, ever did. For where the latter film only contributed just a fun euphemism for a dead and creatively bankrupt franchise desperately trying and ultimately failing to drum up any excitement whatsoever, the former film, the current film, Indiana Jones and the Fun Bags of Fleabag, I believe it's called, has earned a much more auspicious bit of shorthand, and it's 5 words long. Biggest goddamn box office flop in history. Okay, that's 7 words, but I think you get the point. And no, I haven't seen this latest picture, Indiana Jones and the D-Cups of Disaster, I believe it's called, but why the hell would I? First of all, I've only seen 2 movies in the theater since 2020, and they were both Top Gun Maverick. And that might be the most MAGA thing I have ever said on this program, but I digress. And second of all, because anybody who pays even casual attention to plot leaks already knew everything that happens in the film, Indiana Jones and the Fallopian Tubes of Failure, I believe it's called. Basically, everybody in the Western Hemisphere knew this thing had been reshot more times than a Russian oligarch before he jumps out a 6-story window. Everybody knew they had shot half a dozen different endings for this thing that were all reviled in their own unique way by the test audiences to whom they were shown. Because if there was anything the world needed in the summer of 2023, it was Henry Jones Jr., Indiana to his friends, as a grumpy, doddering husk of himself, teetering on the brink of death, the same age as the senile president with the degenerate crackhead son, being led around on one last adventure by the chick who played Lando Calrissian's feminist sex robot in that god-awful Han Solo movie, who is smarter than him, funnier than him, better at everything than he has ever been, and she's a British brunette who wildly overestimates her own attractiveness and don't need no man for nothing. So that's how you know this is a Kathy Kennedy production, folks. Well, that and the fact that it sucks and nobody went to see it, and it's losing so much money they'll probably have to invent a new number with more zeros. Been a hell of a fun month for the Disney company, don't you think? First you release a movie, Indiana Jones and the Ovaries of Awfulness, I believe it's called, that bombs so hard it got a sympathy note from the people of Hiroshima. So hard it's beyond any and all dispute that it is the biggest financial disaster in the motion picture business since Heaven's Gate had a baby with Inchon and they named him John Carter. Then your stock price collapses, and then even the traditional backbone of your company's bottom line, namely theme park attendance, well, that's collapsing now too. The parks look like veritable ghost towns. It's almost like people have no interest in paying $1,000 to get their family in the door, only to be greeted by a hairy, bearded fat man in a dress who asks your daughter if she wants to go play dress-up. It's almost as if the traditional core Disney audience, which, for you viewers under 30, that used to be families with children and not transvestite homosexual they-thems. is trying to send the company some sort of message. And indeed, there were some rumblings last week that Bob Iger was about to embark on the mother of all house cleanings. That he's about to take a sledgehammer to Lucasfilm in particular. And he's put all the company's divisions on notice that they are going to be stepping back from all the race and sex and gender politics, and Disney is going to be spending more time making wholesome, traditional Disney content and less time trying to trans your kids. And it was an easy rumor to believe, except, no it wasn't. Because this week, right on cue, like manna from the heavens, what do we get? We get leaked photos from the set of Snow Brown and the 7 random homeless dudes. More on that in a moment. Much, much more in a moment. I only came here tonight to do 2 things, chew bubblegum and mock Disney, and would you look at that, I'm fresh out of bubblegum. Jim Eagle, hit the damn music.